Growing up, I was always on stage. I was performing as much as I possibly could. I loved it so much, and I still do. Acting, singing, dancing, whatever I could do. I trained professionally in it, but unfortunately, after finishing my training, I suffered a really bad injury that's left me not being able to do that to career level anymore. I have that such a passion and such a drive to be on stage that it kind of left me in a place where I wanted to find any reason to be back in that environment and be back on stage. I found pageants, and for me it was a perfect combination of the two. I got to do all of my community work and my charity fundraising, and I also got an amazing excuse for a glittery dress and a walk on stage at the finals, which is something that obviously I'm not going to say no to, loving being on stage, and the combination of the two just fit perfectly for me. For most people, they hear the word pageant and they think of what we would class as a glitz pageant. I personally do what we call a natural pageant. It's a lot more based on you as a person and your character, what you do for the community, your charity work, all of that all adds up and plays a massive part. Having a community presence for me is and has always really been a very important thing. Being able to help and do some community work has been something that I've always been really passionate about. At the moment, I do a lot of work with a local food bank, helping them as much as I can, whether it's organising or actually being there to give out food and things like that. I do a lot of litter picking. That sounds really silly and small, but local areas, local parks, things like that, keeping everything clean for people. I do a lot of work with charities, especially local ones, charity shops, donating as much as I can when I can. All the little things that really add up. I work 2 jobs at the moment. I work in events, so I work weddings and parties and corporate functions, things like that, which is definitely an interesting one. And then I also work with the showmen on the fair and travel around with them a bit. Since being little, I always loved the atmosphere of the fair. I love the music, the lights, just the fact that people are just in a good mood. And then growing up, having the opportunity to work it, having that atmosphere and work, it doesn't feel like a job. Your time as a finalist for a pageant can be quite extensive and quite long. At the moment, it's going to be over a year before I compete again. So keeping that motivation up is a really important part, really. My biggest motivation is my granddad. He's been my number one cheerleader from being tiny. He's watched me dance from a young age, do all of my shows, do all of my training, and seen me really evolve and grow. I know that he would be sat there right front row supporting me with everything with my pageantry and continuing to see me kind of grow as a woman, and I know he'd be so proud, which is honestly the most motivating feeling, to know that I would be making him proud with what I'm doing. When I did my first pageant, my dress got hung in my granddad's bedroom, which I would now see as one of my biggest good looks. It is such a long process to get into the finals, and the thought that he would be looking down, seeing that dress sat there, just to me just hits home.